Sometimes a shoe just works. There's no explanation required. The colors, the color blocking, the history of the shoe, the silhouette, it just comes together all so nicely. Shoes like the Air Max 90 Infrared, the all-white Air Force Ones, the Air Jordan 3 White Cement, the Jordan 1 Chicagos of course, the Jordan 1 Bread, and of course, the Jordan 1 Black Toe. Air Jordan 1 Low OG Black Toe. Now this shoe is dropping on August 4th for $140. It was supposed to release on July 28th, got pushed back, and I'm not sure if it's because it was releasing so close to the Jordan 1 Low OG UNC to Chicago, and they wanted to create some distance, maybe delay this shoe a little bit. I don't know, that's just a guess, but sneaker release dates, it's always so uncertain. But the official release date is loaded up on sneakers at Nike.com. It is August 4th in the United States for $140. And of course, the black toe color blocking is an OG colorway. Last time we saw this was in 2019. 2019 wasn't the OG version of the shoe, but still. And just 4 years later, we're seeing it again, and I can't complain. Keep them coming, I love it. Now, we'll say, right up front, out of the three kind of Chicago-based colorways, the Chicago colorway, the Bread, and the black toe, I don't know. If I had to choose a favorite, I don't know. I can't choose. It's a toss-up. And the upper sole of the shoe is completely leather. And the leather on the toe box as well as the overlays, they're really, really nice. It feels so soft. And specifically the overlays. A lot of times Jordan Brand will like cheap out on leather for the overlays. Will come like super synthetic. However, for this, there's almost like a shine and gleam to the overlays. It's just so soft. It's so soft, I'm almost like not used to it. It almost feels weird. And then on the toe box, you see when I press down, the creasing of the leather, whew, feels great. Now the leather on the mid panel is pretty good. However, I just reviewed the Air Jordan 1 Low OG UNC to Chicago. I think the leather on that pair, slightly better all around. That comes in more like a tumbled leather texture. However, for a Jordan 1 Low, I'm very pleasantly surprised. And you see that nylon tongue coming up to the Nike Air branding and red. I think that red Nike Air looks really, really nice. Really makes the shoe pop. Love how that looks. And speaking of the tongue, this is where I have to point out the differences between a Jordan 1 Low OG versus a non-OG. So the most prominent and most distinct aesthetic difference, I think, is the tongue. On the non-OG version of the shoe, you see there's a Jumpman instead of the Nike Air branding. And the tongue is also much more prominent. It's longer, it just sticks out a lot more than the OG version of the shoe. I definitely like a more subtle and shorter tongue. It just looks better. And then moving to the heel counter, you see the Wings logo on this shoe is on the heel, but then on the non-OG version of the shoe, it's on the heel counter. And finally, if you put these two shoes side by side, you also notice that the OG version of the shoe is more slender, it's more sleek. Some people might think this shoe looks slightly too long, especially if you're someone that has larger feet. For me, I just think the slender and more sleek shape, it just looks better. However, despite all that, the OG version of the shoe is still not the same as the 1985 cut. That shoe has 8 eyelets. This one only has 7. I think the only shoe off the top of my head that I can think of with 8 eyelets, that's an OG version of the shoe, is the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 Low OGs. Those had 8 eyelets. I don't know why Jordan Brand just can't make the OG version of the shoe 8 eyelets just to match the original. I don't know. On the heel counter, you see that Wings logo. It is not debossed like you might expect from like a Jordan 1 High. And it's a duller Wings logo than like the Jordan 1 Low OG Black Varsity Blue. That has like a shiny printed Wings logo. This one goes for a more muted and dull look. Now moving on to the inside of the shoe, it's just a white insole with black Nike Air branding on top. And I'll have more to say on comfort later, but one thing I always do point out is that the padding for the low version of the Jordan 1 is just slightly thinner than the Air Jordan 1 High. And like other Jordan 1s, this shoe does come with a rubber cup sole with a Nike Air unit on the heel. Thank God, it comes with a white midsole instead of a sail pre-aged midsole. The white midsole just makes this shoe look so clean. Just keep it the 3 colors, black, red, and white. Whew. I'm very glad they stuck with white. No more sail, no more pre-aged, for no reason whatsoever. And of course, the very iconic rubber outsole of the Jordan 1 still holds up today. It's just one of the best designs ever. Now the shoe does come with black extra laces, and I must admit, I think the black laces look better on the shoe. I think it fits in more to the color blocking of the shoe. I don't know what other people think, but If I had to choose, I'm going with the black extra laces. Someday I would like to know how Jordan Brand decides what shoes to give extra laces to. This shoe, $140, one extra set of laces. The Jordan 3 Palominos that I just reviewed, $200, no extra laces. I don't get it. The box of the shoe, very standard black and red Nike Jordan 1 box. Get these for a lot of other Jordan 1s. At least this time, the colors match the shoe. This is exactly the box that I expected. And inside the box, nothing special, just paper. Now moving on to size and comfort, I'm a size 9.5 true to size. I do have wide feet. For Jordan 1s, I do recommend just staying true to size, especially if you have wide feet. It still fits pretty well. There's no wear in this shoe that feels too snug or too tight. The length of the shoe, honestly, there's slightly some wiggle room. However, I don't really mind that too much. Overall, it fits really well. And if you've never worn a Jordan 1 low before, compare it to like a Nike Dunk low. Those shoes came out around the same time, so the fit and the silhouette, it's actually pretty similar. I know for some people with non-wide feet, they do go down half a size for the Jordan 1 low cut because as I mentioned before, the padding inside is not as much as the Jordan 1 highs. However, based on what I've seen, generally, you can't go wrong just sticking true to size for the Jordan 1 low. Now in terms of comfort, I mentioned before, this shoe came out in 1985. There's just one Nike Air unit on the heel. Has a rubber cup sole, so it's not as light as like a polyurethane midsole or a EVA foam midsole, and it does feel very flat to the ground. That's the way Michael Jordan wanted it. He wanted to feel very close to the NBA court, so not too surprised there, but in general, it feels fine walking around for like a day in this shoe, but compared to a lot of other shoes, it definitely pales in comparison. Now that brings the total sole score to 17 out of 25, about average compared to other general release shoes, and this is another example of when the sole score doesn't accurately represent my feelings for this shoe. The sole score looks at each metric in isolation and vacuum, so it doesn't consider and take into account like the intangible qualities of a sneaker. So I'm just gonna say this, I love this shoe. Colorway wise, what can I say? The Chicago colors, black, red, and white, it just doesn't really get any better than this, especially on a Jordan Brand shoe. It's just literally perfect. Nothing more to say. Now in terms of materials, I think it's pretty good. It's very, very soft, and like I mentioned before, the overlays are just, it's like stunningly soft. It's just so nice. But it's hard not to compare it to the Jordan 1 Low OG UNC to Chicago. I just really think that shoe had some great materials for a Jordan 1 Low, slightly better than this one, so I didn't give this shoe a 4 out of 5 for materials. It's just a 3 out of 5. But in general, materials on the black toe, it's pretty nice. In terms of comfort, the very soft overlays actually helps a bit. It's still a Jordan 1 low, it's just not the most comfortable shoe, especially when you compare it to other shoes made in 2023. But I will say, it's not the best, definitely not the worst. Versatility wise, like colorway, there's not much to say. It's perfect. The Jordan 1 silhouette, it is just one of the best sneakers ever. So easy to wear, and you put this colorway, this color blocking on this silhouette, unbeatable. It's just, oh, how can you be more versatile than this shoe? It's so nice, so easy to wear, just goes with everything. I love it. In terms of storytelling, it is Chicago colors. However, it's just a general release, not really much of a story to tell. As much as I love the UNC blue, it's my favorite color on sneakers. There's just quite nothing like the red, white, and black on a Jordan Brand shoe, especially on the Jordan 1s. There's just something about it that hits different, whether you like the bread colorway or the Chicago color blocking, or this color blocking, the black toes. On any given day of the week, give me any single one of them, and I'm a happy man. So that's it. Thanks for watching Sole Inclined. Let me know what you think of the Air Jordan 1 Low OG black toe. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.